Sure.
So Nightwing,
Yes.
how do you feel about the character? How did you manage to voice him the way you did? What decisions did you make to actually achieve the character himself?
Well, I played Nightwing in the original Batman animated series, and they played kind of a bad practical joke on me. I had played Robin for 40, 50 episodes, something like that, and Andrea Romano, the director, called me up and she said, I have some good news and some bad news. The bad news is you're not going to be Robin anymore. And she says, but wait, the good news is now you're going to be Nightwing. So I had time in between that phone call and the first recording session to think about how he would be different from Robin. And Robin was very much an excitable, what are we going to do, Batman? He didn't know he was a sidekick, wanting to be in charge, but not really in charge. So I thought, now that he's Nightwing, he's probably cooler, his voice is lower, he's more like what Kevin does with the Batman character. So I fashioned my voice more like that.
Very nice.
Mm-hmm.
What's it like for you to see things now like Lego Batman, where they're taking the characters into like incredibly zany directions?
I haven't seen it.
That works too.
Yeah.
Loren Lester hasn't seen Lego Batman.
And I'll tell you why is because I have 3 daughters, and they're all 25, 20, and 18, and they don't want to go see those kinds of movies anymore. So I go see other kinds of movies with them. But back then, and there's one of them right now. Lily, can I have my phone back? Is that what you want to show me? Thank you. This is my daughter Lily, everybody.
Hi.
Are you guys leaving?
No.
Oh, okay.
So I guess I should ask you what you think of the Beguiled then. I'm kidding.
No, seriously. No, they want. That's one of the things they would want to see.
Right.
So there you go.
I don't really need your comments.
And
we can talk later. It's okay.
And I actually got into trouble the very first Comic-Con I did. I was on a panel, and it was actually Gary. He asked me. He said, "So when you were doing the show, what did your daughters think of the show?" And I said, "Well, they didn't really watch it. They were girls." And I heard this, gasp go up. And I said, "Well, wait, let me explain." Because they were all into Broadway musicals and that kind of thing. I said, if Batman and Robin were singing and dancing with top hats and canes, they'd have been watching it. So, but now there's
Legion sings and dances.
There, see?
Could that be a thing that we could see in a future DC animated movie?
You're asking me?
Can you sing?
Actors are the last, of course, but actors are the last to know.
Sure, but
Yeah.
would you be game?
Absolutely. Oh man, absolutely. You saw that picture we did? That was my choreography. I had everybody do that.
That was awesome.
What was
You got to pick a song then. What song would it be?
Oh gosh, I guess the theme to Sweeney Todd. I guess.
Yeah, that fits. That's good. No, we'll go with it.
If you could pick any characters in the entire universe, which one would you want to really do?
I would love to see them do the transit. They did the transition of Robin to Nightwing. I would love to see them do the transition of Nightwing to Batman. So like a storyline like Nightfall would be wonderful if they animated that. So I would love to do that and play Batman.
How would you alter the voice then? Would you go again about?
I would definitely go lower, and yes, definitely. And I would like to see them put the stories together so that Bruce Wayne is still around, so that there are now 2 Batmans. Wouldn't that be neat?
That would be awesome.
Yeah. I think in the story, doesn't Bruce Wayne go through a wormhole or something like that? You guys know what that? Yeah, he goes back in time, or then he disappears. Let's not have him disappear. Let's have two Batmen.
Batman Incorporated.
Yes.
I know a lot of voice actors can be very animated when they're in the. Are you one of those type that do stances when you're doing?
Oh
action
yeah,
scenes like that?
you really have to, especially when you're doing the fight scenes and things like that. You just can't stand there and do it. You've got to be careful not to go off mic, of course, but knowing correct mic technique. If you are throwing a punch, you throw a punch. If you're throwing a kick, you usually throw a kick. And if you're punched in the stomach, you crumpled up to make that noise. It's really impossible to make it sound realistic unless you're doing that.
What was the most difficult scene you had to do in that sense?
In this movie or in the whole?
In your career.
In my career, you mean on camera or off camera or?
Let's say voice.
Unquestionably, audiobooks. are the most difficult work. It's very, very difficult, very time consuming, especially if you do a book where you have to change back and forth, two people talking to each other, and you have to stop. Who am I now? Oh yeah, very, very difficult. And the second most difficult is interactive games, because if let's say you're shot, maybe you die in one version, or you suffer a long, painful death in another version, maybe another one you die very quickly, and they do all those cues. So you go, dying, and then they go back through and they say, right now this one we want a little faster, this one we want a little slower. Very taxing, difficult work.
Wow.
I know a lot of voice actors have a kind of code word, or well, not code word, but like a word that can kind of get them into the accent they need. Do you have one for Nightwing?
I always say this to myself. I say, Batman, it isn't a joke, it's a riddle. We're not looking for the Joker, we're looking for the Riddler. And then I'm there.
How did you approach returning to the role? Was it is he a more mature Nightwing to you, or did you pick it up as if no time has passed? Since
I picked it up as if no time had passed. It really, when you see it, you'll see it really as if it's the next episode that you would have expected to see. Although there's no restrictions or censorship, or network looking over people's shoulders, so there's more freedom. It's more freedom.
Sam was talking about how there were more independent recording sessions. Were there any ensemble recording sessions in this movie?
Not too many, no, unfortunately, and that's the way it is now. Back when we did the show originally, we were all there. Even the stars who played the villains, we were all in the same room together.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've heard some great stories about him.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He was, he's had such an incredible career. He was on Broadway. He worked with directors like Sam Fuller in the movies, and of course, that Star thing. I don't forget what it was called, Star something that he was in. But he has the huge career, so he has a lot of stories to tell, and he's really entertaining to work with. A lot of fun.
Where does Nightwing rank in terms of the work that you've done? Like, is he kind of like at the top of your list, like your favorite thing to do, or?
Well, I think it's the one thing that I've done, well, no, two things, that really stood such a long test of time. I didn't expect that, and nobody who did the show expected that 25 years later we'd be still talking about this show. So it's one of the things that I done. The other thing I did was a movie called Rock and Roll High School, which people still talk about and still screen and still see. So those two things are the two things I've done that have really stood the test of time over decades. And I love now that the people who originally watched the show, they all have kids now, and so now there's two generations of fans of the show.
Have you kept up with any of the comics with Nightwing or Robin?
Well, I have a friend, Kyle Higgins, who's written the Nightwing books, and so yes, through him I have. Yeah, he'd love to do a Nightwing series. Wouldn't that be great?
Yeah.
I'm available.
Last question.
Were you bummed that your daughters weren't so much into the whole Batman universe?
No, not at all. Not at all. Because I think it's a more recent phenomenon that the young women are such passionate fans about especially action things. And my youngest daughter and I actually, she loves movies like Die Hard and things like that. So I think that's a new phenomenon. Back, when we were doing the show, it wasn't so much. I mean, it was girls had to do My Little Pony and all that. But it's great that that there's been this liberation, and now we can have fans that are both girls and boys.
Do they have kids?
My kids don't have kids yet. No,
Not yet?
no. My oldest is 25, so she has time.
See, grandchildren.
Yes. All right. Thank you all very much.
Nightwing out, Batman in.